Hello everyone, welcome to Guru TV. I'm your host Jason Sutton from the Dana Rader Golf School. And on today's show we're going to talk about 3 areas in the golf swing that you may be struggling with. It's really going to help the consistency in your ball striking. As you know from watching a lot of the top players on TV or watching the tour players and seeing pictures, you'll notice that there's a lot of different looking golf swings, and that's a good thing. Mind you, there's not exactly one way to swing a golf club, but if you threw everybody into a hat and you started looking at the commonalities of really good golf swings, you're going to find 3 areas that I'm going to talk about today. Number 1 is club face control. You have to have superior control of the club face, whether it's striking the ball solidly or controlling your direction. Number 2 is downswing playing. All these great players tend to put the club into the slot, or what we call on-plane downswings, pretty regularly when they're playing well. And number 3, we're talking about impact. What's going on as the ball collides with the club face, and you're going to see some similarities there. So let's get started with number 1, club face control. Especially for all you slicers out there that are having trouble controlling the curvature on your golf ball, the first thing you want to look at is club face. So I'm going to step into my little swing plane idea here, and we're going to look at club face. So we're going to assume right away that your fundamentals are tight. You have a good grip, good posture and setup, your ball position is correct. So let's talk about what could be happening with the golf club and the club head in specific. So as we take the club away, what we see a lot of times is with slicers, the club face rotates too much in the backswing. So you might get the club too much to the inside and the face could be open. An open club face is where the club head is a little more toe down at the top of your backswing. The left wrist tends to get a little cup in the wrist, and this is going to make it very difficult for you to square up the blade as you come into impact. That's probably the most common thing that we see. Number 2 would be the opposite. If you hook the golf ball too much, you might tend to get the club a little too shut, where the face is looking at the ground and looking at the sky. You might see a little more of a bowed looking left wrist at the top of your backswing. So for you hookers, that's the tendency for you. So what we want to do is get the club in sort of that mid-range to where the back of your left hand, if you can see the club face there, is matching the back of my left forearm. And that's a good place to start. And you can also adjust, obviously if the ball is curving too much to the right, you want to close it a little bit more. If it's curving too much to the left, then you want to open it a little bit more. Now, a couple of ways you can do that. One is with a grip change, right? So if the grip tends to move more to the right with a stronger grip, that's going to tend to close the face. If you rotate your left hand and right hand to the left more, that would be a weaker grip, that's going to open the face. So starting out with a general neutral grip is a great way to really start your golf swing. So we have about 2 knuckles showing, the V's are pointing mostly towards the right ear or the right shoulder. So let's go through that one more time. As we get to the top, we want to have that club face nice and square. Back of the left hand and the club face match, which is going to give you an excellent chance of squaring that blade into impact. First place to start. Number 2, swing plane. We all want to swing the golf club on plane. Now, again, if you go back to looking at the top players on tour, you're going to see a variety of backswings, right? So you can see as I set up my little station here with my shaft that matches the angle of my club as it sits on the ground, that's our swing plane. So we see a variety of backswings, mostly going towards the steeper side going back, and then more shallow coming down. So what I would like to see in most golf swings is I want to see a golf club that comes down parallel to this line and slightly on top of it. All right, so this is where generally most players are going to play great from. The farther you get away from this swing plane line, the worse your ball striking is going to get. So for you open club face guys out there that are slicing the ball, your tendency is going to be what we call come over the top. So you're going to swing away from the line. Cut across the ball, face is open, ball spins too much to the right. For you guys that are hooking the golf ball, the tendency is to get more underplane or shallow with a shut face. So more underplane, shallow guys are going to tend to hit too many curved balls to the left. So really important thing to look at here as we start the downswing is really feeling like our lower body moves a little bit towards the target. We separate the hips from the shoulders, and we allow that club to drop right down into the slot where we're going to have a good chance of getting to a decent impact position and then right up and through to the target. So number 3, we talk about impact. Right? Impact is when we strike the golf ball, when the ball collides with the club face. So we're looking at what do good ball strikers look like at impact? Well, a lot of the players that I work with that tend to have problems with their contact, they are trying to scoop the ball up into the air. So they're trying to help that ball off the ground by breaking that left wrist down a little bit too soon, and that tends to cause some pops, tends to cause some fat shots, but definitely tends to cause you to hit it weak, maybe even to the right. So what we're trying to get into is you see good players, the left wrist is a little more flat, the handle is leaning more forward, and the shaft leaning towards the target, which brings the swing bottom more towards our left shoulder, as you've seen good players take a little divot in front of the golf ball as opposed to behind. So again, as we come into impact, we want to see the back of that left wrist flat and almost turning down into a bowed position. The right wrist is bent, and then we have a nice forearm rotation through the shot as we rotate that forearm into the finish. So let's recap. Number 1, we have to have superior club face control, right? Reading your golf ball is going to tell you a lot about what the club face is doing, and that's the first thing you want to check. Number 2 is we want to have the club on a good plane coming down, parallel to the shaft line into halfway down position or the slot. And then number 3 is we want to make sure that we are striking the golf ball with a forward leaning shaft and a flat lead wrist. Those are the 3 things that all good ball strikers have in common. You can throw out all the other stuff about weight shift and body rotation and all this other stuff, how they take the club away. You're going to see a lot of different things, but these are the 3 things that are going to be in common. So what we want to do is we want to preserve the uniqueness of your golf swing and really keep you into these 3 areas in order to hit the ball. If somebody tells you that your swing looks a little bit odd or a little bit funny, but you're hitting the ball solid and hitting it where you want to go, don't change it. Okay, not just to make it look pretty. We want efficient golf swings. We don't want golf swings that look pretty. So let me hit one for you to close out the show today. Let's see how we can do. So we're going to go through the fundamentals here as we set up to it. So that ball went exactly where I wanted it to go, so I know my club face was square, I had a pretty good swing plane, and I had a nice forward-leaning shaft at impact. So I hope this helps you. These 3 things are key and critical we're going to work on until the next segment, and I'll see you next time on Guru TV.